Hello? Hello, operator. Yes, you're correct. It is a long distance to New York. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the eModels Oktoberfest live stream. I forgot what it was then. Live stream.
Wait, does that mean we get loads of beer?
Yeah.
Delivered by well-proportioned
only if you're wearing leather shorts. Yeah.
That's personal, that is, Ted.
Yeah. Yep. Right. Yes. Welcome to this evening's live stream. We just had a call. I don't know what it was about, but just the operator said it was a long distance to New York. Yeah. Of course, we know it's a long distance to New York. Right. Welcome everybody. What's going to happen tonight? Once again, we haven't a clue. Will the phone ring? We never know.
That's the eModels hotline.
The eModels hotline. I thought I was going to get a new iPhone 10. That's what they sent.
Thanks, Pete, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. That. Thanks, Pete, mate. Right. Yes. So the chat is open, and we're here for your questions, and chat and things like that. Send them on emails. Send them in the chat. Whatever. So let's. First of all, we usually go and have a look at what's in, and then we sort of get rambled on and lots of repeats. So we'll go right to the top. We were in early tonight. The chat opened quite early. There was a few waiting at the door to get in. So the first one I think was Simon O'Callaghan. So welcome to Simon.
You've been working on the pronunciation there, haven't you, Ted?
I have. I've been doing my best all week.
Where's Scott from?
Orkney.
Good girl. He's learning.
I get it right all the time. He's not from Orkney. He's from Orkney. Richard Fruzan.
That'll be Forzan then.
Yeah.
You've just a massive victory and then crumble back again.
Yeah. Never mind. Right. Model making guru. He was in tonight, but he's disappeared again. Don't know where he's gone.
No idea.
Alex Kutzal, good evening to you. Gross Models, good evening, Chris. Welcome. Once again, there's a couple of moderators in tonight. If you do experience any problems and we miss it, just have a chat with your moderators and hopefully they'll pick it up. Look after these guys. They do it off their own back. They do it all voluntary and things like that. And thank you very much for them giving up the time to come in and have a look and look after you all.
Yep. As always, it is a family-friendly show, so keep it clean in the chat, please, or behave yourselves. We know you do anyway, and you look after yourselves, but.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah. Yeah, this goes on as long as you need it to go on and chat and things like that. And so we enjoy doing it. So we'll go on as long as we can handle it, really. Right. Richard Furzan, he's still working. Richard, we'll just call him Richard. Richard F. He's working on his Hasegawa F22 Raptor in 148 scale. Brilliant. Yeah, I've been working today. I've been rubbing things down. I've been painting things, giving things an extra coat of paint, bit of filler here and there, but it's been on the bedroom, not on a model. She who must be a bird has had me doing other things today.
So, the decorating.
The decorating. Yeah. I don't like the colour of that. Yeah. So you put the paint on. I don't like the colour of that. Should we go and get some more? That's decorating for you.
See, it's assumed that because we like painting things in our free time, we like painting things in the house. It's like, no.
Oh, right. Simon O'Callaghan's been doing the same thing. He's been painting the kitchen. We're all
share the pain.
It's that time of year again. When it gets round to model making time of the year, it's back to the workbench in the dark and dismal nights. They decide that they want the house decorated for Christmas or selling or whatever. Yeah, that's what they do.
We have a very important question from Kenneth M.
Go on then.
Question: is Ted wearing a Guyver anime shirt? Ted wouldn't even know what Guyver is or anime. I suspect it's not a Guyver anime shirt.
It's all guys rule. It's a bit apt. It's a bit apt, really. The dark side of the shed.
Yes, I know what Guyver is. Ted does.
Can you explain it to me?
I'd probably spit my water out if Ted was wearing a Guyver t-shirt. I'd be like,
yeah. Explain it to me after the show.
Yeah.
Right.
Andy B67 says he's been in Tenerife for the last 2 weeks, and everybody in the chat now hates him for it. Yeah.
Good
Apart
job
from
he got
anybody in
home.
the chat who lives in Tenerife, obviously.
Yeah, hopefully got home. Well, obviously got home in time before Monarch were going to fetch him home again. Right, what else? There's a lot of chat going on. You guys are really into chatting with each other, which is brilliant. That's what it's all about. We all come here, have a chat, get around.
Toby Page says, "Hi guys, nice puffin, first time here." Hi Toby.
Hi Toby.
Dave, why is the Rum Gone Barker to reply saying we don't discuss puffins or anything after episode 6? Dave's banned.
Models by Will. Will's in. Good evening to you, Will, from the other side of the world.
Yeah, he's upside down and in the past, or is it he's in the future and upside down?
I think he's in the future.
I think that's just Will personally, not where he is.
Yeah, I think he knows what's going to happen tonight. If he could tell it, if you could drop us as a line to Heligan35, tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gross. Chris
Smith, question: is Ted out of focus? TK already replied by saying always.
Always out of focus. If I wasn't out of focus, you wouldn't know it was me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
He's
better?
naturally fuzzy.
Naturally fuzzy.
Like a baby bird. It's just
fuzzy around the edges, all soft and fuzzy. Yeah.
Moving on, Ted.
The chat is yeah, right. The chat is moving on really fast.
One thing we always say is the chat does move really fast, and Ted and I are very busy being pretty on television, so we miss a lot of stuff. So if you do ask a question, make sure to do it in capitals so we might see it. But apologies if we miss your question. We just do miss a lot of stuff in chat. We'll try and pick up where we can, but we'll probably miss a lot of stuff. So,
and if you are watching this on the eModels link and just watching it, if you want to join in the chat, if you click down here somewhere, I think is it down
other side. That side.
There you go. That side. If you click down there on the YouTube logo, it will take you across to the YouTube site where you can join in the chat. If, however, you can't get in the chat because you may be on not a laptop, a desk,
mobile, iPad, a mobile device.
Yeah, a mobile device.
Yes,
that's it. If you're on a mobile device and you can't get in the chat, you can send me an email to ted@emodels.co.uk. Send your question that way, and hopefully I'll get it in time, and we'll try and answer it this evening.
Yeah. If you're on a mobile device as well and you can't see the chat, you might be using the app. Sometimes if you just go to the normal website, the YouTube website, it'll work better. Not the mobile app or the mobile website. Anyway.
Oh, right. I see Christopher Taylor's in. He was the winner of last week's Shackleton. Well done, Chris. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope it's arrived okay and you're enjoying it. We do.
He says yes. He says thank you for his Shackleton prize. Yeah. So I guess it's arrived.
So I guess it's arrived, yeah. Hopefully it's not just the announcement. Yeah, we do have another winner from last week's giveaway, and you'll have to hang on to later on the show to find out if it was you.
Yes, we don't do artificially manufactured suspense. No, wait, we do. We do manufactured.
Yes. Who's the winner for this week? Well, we ain't going to tell you yet. You've got to hang on.
We're very good at doing the BBC. The winner is... Pause.
Yeah, pause.
We're channeling Bruce Forsyth.
Dun, 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 dun.
Too soon?
Back as a forward to Fox. Fox. Who the winner is, but you'll have to wait. And will the phone ring? Will we have another giveaway this evening?
We both did that at the same time. Who can say? Sometimes Pete mate watches.
Yeah, sometimes
contacts us to say give something away. Sometimes he's in the pub, probably getting a bit wobbly and doesn't watch at all.
Yeah, and then he comes home and says, "Give something away."
And we're like, "Yeah, we did that yesterday, Pete."
You're late.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we've already given it away, Pete. Thank you. Right. Yeah, we'll have a look at also what's in store. We've a couple of things in store. We'll have a look at the offers, what's in there, and whatever else. Yeah, we're rambling now. Questions?
We're not even 10 minutes in. You're rambling already, Ted. It's a bad start.
A giveaway of Ted's new Superglue range, perhaps. Maybe Superglue range? No, I don't know. Right, yeah, we do have a question on Superglue, by the way, and that was from Dave. Where's the rum gone? He did ask about what Superglue we can recommend. I have a one from eModels. What's it called? Can't find the name on it. Jarvis.
I've got one somewhere, but
yeah, Jarvis. If you want to glue photo etch, use a thin super glue. Don't use too much of it. Too much of it does sort of
you get blobs everywhere.
Yeah, you get blobs everywhere. It doesn't glue as quick for some reason. So put the tiniest of tiny amounts on, glue it. Make sure it's in date as well. Don't use some old stuff you've had lying around the back of the shelf for weeks and weeks or months and months. Because
Yeah, like mine's kind of gone hard now. I can't squish it, so I think that's out of the heat.
Yeah, it does go off. And if you get any fresh stocks of super glue, what I often do, I keep one on the bench and keep another one in the fridge because it preserves it a little bit better.
For those who might not know, the difference between like thick, thin, and medium super glue is, well, first of all, one's thick, one's thin, and one's medium. But also the drying time. So thin super glue dries very, very quickly. You don't get a lot of working time. Thick super glue takes maybe 30 seconds. So you maybe get 10 or 15 seconds to adjust your piece. If it's a really tiny piece and you know you're going to get it in place, you can use the thin super glue because you can use it like Timirexin. You can just touch it to and it'll suck inside. But if you want a little bit of working time with a lot of photo etch, you need it. You can just use the thick stuff just to maneuver it into place.
Yeah. But one thing about it is if you do use too much, it won't go off as quick, if at all. And somebody's reminding that you forgot your banner for.
Oh, I have an all, haven't I? Oh, right. This is where I have
to
look off to the side now to see what I'm doing. Oh, that's embarrassing.
We'll have a short intermission and some music while Fox finds his banner.
No, I don't want to screen share. That's not the right button. Hang on. Oh, Ted, you forgot to remind me that I'd forgotten my thing with the forgetting.
Yeah, well, I was just shouting.
Right, let me go over here. If you wonder why I'm looking to the left and right, it's because my camera's right in the way. Right, tread water for a minute, Ted.
Yeah, right. I'm just having a look. One of the questions from Paul Stewart. Hi again, Paul. Of all the kits you've built, are there any you'd happily build again for the sheer pleasure of it? For the sheer pleasure of it. Usually most kits become, once you've built them, let's move on. I've built that, move on. I'll do something else. But there is one. I'll try and screen share. Give me a moment. I'll try and screen share and find it.
Find it, Ted. Find it.
Find it without pressing the stop transmission button.
Oh.
Do not press the stop transmission button.
Don't do that.
Screen share.
We'll know what Ted's like with pressing the wrong buttons. It's never a good thing.
Yeah. It's gone again. Hang on. Screen share. For flipping heck.
Have you lost it, Ted?
No, it's here. Right. Can you see this? Can you see that? That's one of my early model boat. Can you see it? I can't see the chat.
Yeah, it's on screen.
Right. Yeah, that was one of my radio control model boats from many years ago. I built it for a friend. It was really not so much a dream to build. It was a drudge to build because it was completely scratch built. Everything you see on there, I made from bits and pieces of plastic. And Fox says I built it out of matchsticks and everything else. I did really. It was a drudge to build, but when I got to the end of it, I thought, yeah, I could really build something like that again. But I probably won't because it took me about 6 years to build it. So I'm not going to go and do that one again.
That's a long time, even by my standards, Ted.
Yeah, yes. It was on and off the shelf, a bit of cursing. I'm thinking, what am I going to build this with? But yeah, if I had to build something again, if I could only build one more model again, I'd build that. Yeah, so yeah, so that would be 6 years of work again. So that way, let's go. Stop sharing. Have we stopped sharing? Yeah.
You and your big boats, Ted.
Yeah, I love my big boats.
You like big boats, and you cannot lie.
I do.
Other brothers may deny.
And it was actually a pleasure when I built it. You know how you build something for somebody and they really appreciate when you built it. You give it to them. Yeah, it was very nice. It was a nice feeling to have built it for somebody. But yeah, it's gone now. So I probably won't ever build it again. But if I did, that's it. Have you got anything?
What's nice is a commission bill where they get to appreciate it and they give you money.
Yeah, it was more of a building for a friend, I think. The amount that he paid for it, the amount that I put into 6 years of it.
A gift.
A gift, yeah. So yeah. So, you anything you want to build again?
No. I have had to rebuild kits a few times because I've built one for myself and then had a commission. So I've done a couple of fine molds Millennium Falcons. I've done a couple of the Revell 1/72 scale 7C U-boat. Not as big as yours. And for me, it's a whole different story. Whether I'm doing it for commission or I'm doing it for myself, I really can't. I don't enjoy going back to a model I've already built, because you don't get, when I'm building a model the first time, it's all about learning for me, it's all about learning the kit and the parts and how it all goes together and dealing with the challenges. And you come back to do it again, it's like there's nothing new. It's like, well, I've done all this, I know how to get around all the problems I had last time. You might know a bit more to avoid some pitfalls. There's just no fun for it. And then it's just like, I'm just doing it by rote. So yeah, I mean, the only exception might be, for example, say a Gunpla or a snap fit kit where I've not got any building challenges. I've just have fun painting it. I might do that, but for proper traditional models, I've done it a few times, and I don't want to have to do it again. I'll build more Millennium Falcons. Everybody knows I've got my big D'Agostini to build at some point.
Yeah, one or two people have mentioned that.
Yeah, I only mentioned that because I saw the chat go, and I thought, yeah, that's 6 comments about the D'Agostini Falcon. At some point in the future, if I suddenly save some money, I might get the perfect grade Falcon from Bandai. I'll have to save up for that. It's quite expensive.
I think on that note, it was probably right then to say it's not a matter of building the same model again, but it's building the same model again and painting it differently.
Yeah, I agree. Although if it's a particularly ornery model kit, like a traditional glue kit, I probably wouldn't want to do it again, because if when you're building it the first time, it's an adventure. When you're building it the second time, if it's a complicated build like a glue kit, it's kind of just boring because you've done it before. If it's a snap fit kit, it's fine because you don't have to think about the build. If I was building a Gunpla, there's no real thinking involved about building it, so then it is just about the painting. But with a traditional kit where it's half of the brain process is how to build it, if you built it once, I got that with the U-boat. When I painted the U-boat the second time, I weathered it a whole different way because I'd learned new techniques.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the painting bit, but building the thing, it's a chore, because I knew all the problems there were with the kit, so I knew what I had to do to get around them. But because I knew what was coming, like for example, I knew certain things I'd have to deal with, my brain's going, yeah, not long now till you have to deal with that particular really bad part of the kit that you're going to hate doing. I'm like, yeah, don't remind me of that. So I wouldn't enjoy building something again if it was a proper build. Say snap fit kit, yeah, I'd build the same Gunpla. I've done I think 2 heavy arms so far, and they're always fun. So although I probably won't do another unicorn apart from my ginormous one. No.
Yeah. I think that we'll go with that. We'll go with that then. Instead of building the same kit, you can already have the kit built. Just build it. Just paint it differently.
Chris in chat says, "Can we let Will ban someone to get it out of his system?"
Yeah, go for it, Will. Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
you just don't ban me or Ted, because that could end badly.
Yeah. If you're the unfortunate person that gets banned by Will, we are sorry. We do.
Yes, we are sorry, but take it as an honoured privilege. Yeah. He's only little and furry, and
we'll start handing little badges out. I was banned by Will. All right, where were we?
Have we got any questions that come in?
No.
Did TK says, did Fox just say Gunpla aren't proper models? No, I meant like they're not a traditional glue model that's kind of hard and thinky. A Gunpla is you don't have to think during the buildy bit. That's the fun bit. Well, ironically, they're kind of harder to paint than traditional kits. I think I said traditional kits. They're kind of harder to paint because of the fact they'll move. But Gunpla are proper models. Lego's proper models from a certain point of view.
Yeah, just think if Tamiya started building Gunpla, well, in a different name.
Yeah, I think if Tamiya started doing proper snap fit kits like that, Bandai would be a bit worried. Although not in terms of Gunpla, but.
We've got Mofdan just coming from Austria. Brilliant. I don't think we've had anybody from Austria before, have we?
Good Abend.
Good Abend, yeah. Beautiful place in Austria. I've been a couple of times. I love it. Yeah. So if you've got any free tickets and if you want me to pop over to Austria, I'll glad to come over. Yeah.
It's easy to get confused in Austria and Australia, apart from one's upside down.
Yeah, well, that's it. Well, yeah, if I find myself on a plane for more than about 3 hours, I'll get a bit worried.
Yeah, if I go to Austria and I've been on the plane for 4 hours, I'm like, I got the ticket wrong, didn't I? I read that too fast.
Yeah. Oh, right. What else has been going on? Have you been up to anything this week?
Yes, I have.
I know we've had a few videos been posted. Well, congratulations.
Yes. We have Die großen Igel gefahren. It's coming together. Let me. Odo says hi, everyone.
Hi, Odo.
Move Odo out of the way. He likes being on camera. He's a bit of a diva. The Eagle's coming along nicely, as you can see. It's a bit big. We've got basically all the building has been done now. So the reconnaissance module is pretty much done. I've just not put the roof on because I need to keep that off while I paint the windows. The main superstructure is done. The interesting thing is that the command module, this bit, and the engines here are not actually glued on. They're just put in place, but they stay in place, which is cool for two reasons. One, it means it's easy to transport because I can pop them off. And two, I don't have to scrape paint off the superstructure to glue them together and then put more paint on and worry that they're not glued together properly. So yeah, it's getting a bit big. So I've put an episode up, I think, day before yesterday, and an episode went up last Monday. So there's a couple of episodes up there now. Tomorrow I need to make a start on the actual painting. So that episode will be coming soon on the eModels YouTube channel.
And before you put your roof on your cargo pod, are you going to put anything inside it?
I've signed it.
Oh, you signed it. I always sign my models.
Yeah, I've signed it.
My models. You never see it, but you sign it.
But one thing I will do, and a couple of people have suggested to me, and I don't know why I didn't think of it. I did find that the two pieces that go on the side like this, like that, you see? And there's one on this side, and then there's a flat piece which goes down the middle. This is screwed in place because it screws to the superstructure, but there's a big gap here, and it kind of sags in the middle. And I don't know why I didn't think of it, but what a few people have suggested is before you glue that middle piece in, just put some plastic card or some bits of sprue in there just to give it a framework. So when this piece goes on, it will sit nice and flat. Now, it's not a problem that it is actually a bit, because the problem is you'll put it on, you'll get that. I don't know if it comes out on camera. You get that. It's not snug fit. It just sits loosely. So that will help it stay in place. But luckily, it doesn't matter if there's a gap there. I don't need to fill it because when you put the spine over the top, you don't see that. So that's all gravy, basically. So yeah, it's coming on. That, see, comes off dead easily.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
My end came off.
So all them fears about taking the nose cone off for lighting and things are done fine.
Yeah, and I got that all sorted out so you can take the cockpit off. It's all come out brilliantly. But it just means, because originally what I was going to have to do was get this all painted up, then scrape paint off here, glue it to the superstructure, and then have to go up and touch in all that paint and hope that there'd been enough contact points for it not to fall off. But because it sits in there quite firmly, when I take it back to eModels, I'll just take it back in the bits, put it all together, put it on their shelf, done.
And run.
So,
yeah.
Nice and easy.
Yeah,
but it's huge. It's massive.
Yeah, so yeah, well, yeah, as I said, there's a couple of videos got up this week of yours, and I actually got one of mine up as well. The U-boat, it's actually part 5 has gone up. I'm also already on to part 6 as well, so doing that. I took a bit of time out as well for some oil painting as well this week. I finished my little man. Looks mean.
You look Gru. Is it Gru?
I don't know what they call him.
I think it's Gru.
Now, that was an exercise in oil painting and skin tones and everything like that, and it's come out brilliantly. I can't overemphasize how fantastic oil painting is.
It's very good fun.
Blending. So that's cracked on. I shall get a stand for him. And
Kenneth M asked a question. Hey, Kenneth. Kenneth sent me a picture. Just so everybody knows, Kenneth sent me a picture recently of a baby spider on his wall. People in the chat probably know this. He sent me a photograph of a baby spider he saw on his wall. It's that big. Because it was a huntsman and Kenneth lives in Australia. He's like, yeah, it's a baby. It's really cute. I put it in my hand. It's no problem. And I'm like... Anyway, yes. Kenneth says, why doesn't Lego have mold lines? Because the Lego bricks aren't molded on a sprue. They're just molded as bricks. So it's like that. To me, a paint thing. There's no mold line on that because you can have on the mold, you have a negative shape here. So you have a mold here, another mold that comes over the top like that, and the plastic is the gap in the middle. So all you have is, on a Lego block, you'd have, say, this bit inside, and slightly bigger will be the same shape, but slightly bigger. The plastic is in the middle, comes off, pops it out. There's no need for you're not having two halves of a mold coming together to make a thing. You're just having a hollow shape. There probably are some where they're like, say, a rod, or some of the tires I think have seam lines around, but for most parts, it's just a simple shape like that. So same reason that's not a mold line. Also, why it doesn't have any nubs, because it comes off like a single thing, not like on a sprue.
Do you think in the factory they have the feet protected so they don't stand on them?
Oh, can you imagine that?
Oh,
I always call Lego pieces like a domestic caltrop.
yeah.
There is nothing worse. I'd rather stand on a plug than stand on a Lego brick.
Yeah.
And just to answer a question that a lot of people ask, it's not Legos. It's the plural of Lego is Lego. I know this.
What does it? Didn't Lego? Didn't they say Lego stood for something? Not that I can remember what it is.
It's leg god, which is Swedish or Norwegian or something for play well.
Wow, right.
It's two words, leg and god.
Yeah. Will said again, why don't I do a minion? I've done a minion. Yeah, boom minion. There he is. That was done in oil as well. That was good little exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll get a full set. I'll get minions all over here. Yeah. Right.
Apparently, Smooth posted a question for me, but I'm just trying to find it. Hang on.
I've got one from Shaman and Adrian. Good evening, Ted and Foxx. What is your thoughts on Meng and Tacom tank kits? He loves them. Brilliant. Yeah. Tony's just built the Tacom Chieftain, and he raved about it. He thought it was a fantastic kit. So yeah, that's. Did you find? Yeah. That was
I can't see your question, Smooth. Can you post it again for us in big fat capitals? I scrolled up quite a bit, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, but yeah, the Tacom kit, fantastic. Not personally built one myself because the only seem to reach. Well, they haven't just reached the shelves, but I've never got around to getting one yet. But the build by Tony, fantastic. Nice little kits, go together amazingly.
Yeah, no, they do. Tacom and Meng both do very good kits. Meng also do the egg tanks.
Oh yeah,
the world of tanks, super chibi egg tanks. By nature, by the fact they make those kits, we like Meng kits. Yeah. Anybody that can make chibi egg tanks, obviously they're good.
I was just thinking as well, we mentioned the egg tank, so we're going to do a live build. We will be doing a live build. We might do it a little bit nearer Christmas, for a Christmas special.
Yes, somebody planted the idea of me and Ted sitting down for a couple of hours doing a live stream and taking a kit and just going from putting it all together to painting it fully. So we thought doing a couple of egg tanks would be fun for that.
Yeah, well, we might save that for a little bit. We'll get these big builds out of the way, and then we'll maybe do a Christmas special or something like that. It's not too far away from Christmas.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, somebody will probably work it out in a minute and tell us how many sleeps we have till Christmas.
Yes, I don't want to know. Christmas is just a time of spending and nonsense. Although it is a time I can legitimately drink sherry, which is acceptable. It's the one good thing.
Yeah.
Have a nice little glass of sherry, don't you know? Very civilized.
Spider Q has asked that question. How many of the guys out there, how many of you guys have built the Toon tank? He likes the look of them. I think there's one or two probably in the chat that have built the Toon tank.
Yeah, I really want to build the Sherman.
Yeah, I'd like the look of the Sherman, but I'd be quite happy. But mind you, there's one or two more coming out now, haven't there?
Yeah, I mean they've got the KV2, they've got the Sherman, they've got the Tiger 4. I think they've got the King Tiger.
Yeah,
but I think the Sherman looks the cutest and most adorable. That's why I like it.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a few more coming out because I think they're releasing them along with the game, aren't they?
Yes. Because I was not talking to James, but I was having a conversation, included in which was James from Studio Rocker Van, who made the game. And I was saying to him, why they really should do some figures as well to go with them, because the figures are kind of chibi as well. It'd be really cool if you get the tank and some figures, because that'd be awesome. We've got a question from Stein Van Gemmert. Question: I'm working on a kit with a lot rusted cast iron effect parts. How can I remove the nubs without ruining the effect? And can I use something to hide seam lines? If you mean they're kind of
pre-colored or something like that.
Yeah, pre-colored. Really, the only thing you can do, I've never seen a kit with unless it's just pre-painted.
Yeah, what kit have you got, Stin?
Yeah, tell us what the kit is.
Yeah, I can't recall a kit like that, but
no, I've not come across pre-rusted parts. Yeah. The difficulty with any kit, and this is the same thing Gunpla builders find when they get some of Bandai's plated kits where they have a special finish or plated kits. Taking them off the sprue, unless they're undergated, so the part is here, and then the sprue is underneath, in which case you'll never see that bit. It's a real pain. It's the same with chromed parts in kits. Yeah, all you can do is be really careful when you're taking the nubs off with your knife to keep it as minimal as possible, because you are going to expose the plastic underneath regardless. Same with seam lines. If you're filling a seam line, you're going to have to be doing sanding. So the only thing I can really suggest is if it's like a chrome effect or something, you can just strip that off and start again. If it's something you can get away with just touching in with a similar color, then do that. But if the worst comes to the worst, you could just completely repaint those parts and do your own rust effects. It's probably going to be a lot less hassle than trying to touch in, especially if there's lots of seam lines. You get a lot less hassle just to repaint them and do your own rust effects. But yeah, tell us what the kit is, guys. I've never seen a kit with pre-rusted parts before. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody mentioned there they want us to build they want us to live build the Dora railgun.
Well,
I'm afraid we can't.
Well, yeah, you see, we'd love to do that for you.
Yeah, we would.
But there's a problem with that.
Yeah,
tell them, Ted.
Yeah, we would have done it. Yeah, however, it's been sold after last week's show. A lucky customer went out and bought the kit.
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic news.
Yeah, so on last week's stream, I was like, you know what, I'm going to have that.
Yeah.
So it's gone. He's had it. He's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. There's a big space. There's a big void.
Yeah. Now, I've told Pete, of course, that shelf is big enough to fit a lot of Gunpla. But it's not going to happen. But hey, I'm working on it.
Yeah, but we could have built that railgun for you, but unfortunately, we won't be able to do it now. So
and that was if I remember rightly from what I heard, that was one of the last 4 kits available in the UK. So, yeah.
You can probably find it around, but unfortunately, eModels don't have it anymore. So congratulations to the guy that bought that.
Yes, like we always say, whenever we feature stuff on here, a lot of you will watch this on YouTube, but some of you do watch it on the website. And when we do feature the kits in the what's in store, what we often find is that they actually get sold straight away. So if you see something in when we do like the what's in stock thing and you like a kit, don't hang around, because if eModels only have 5 or 6 of them in stock, yeah, they're probably gone by the time we finish the show. So it's always worth.
And it's an it's a live sort of update as well on the website. Yes. So you don't sort of press on something and buy it and then they get an information telling you it's out of stock. If it's there, it's for sale. If it's gone, it's gone. So yeah. So,
Spidiquate or Spidiquate or it sounds like spiders. It sounds like spiders. That's probably not a good thing. He says he has a good many American friends and they all say Legos all the time. They're wrong. Just tell them they're wrong. Smoo, did you repost your question? Stein says it's not painted, but it has a structure like cast iron. The kit is a 1/20th Laputa Castle in the Sky robot. So okay, I've got you.
All right. Do you know? I'm a bit lost on what that is, but you know that one?
Yeah, I know it. I don't know the kit specifically. I know what it is though. Yeah, I would say you're probably going to be easier repainting it because it's going to be all over it. And if you do touch it in, you'll probably get it right, but it might be obvious to you. So I would say it might be easy just to repaint the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because at least then you can control the rust effect and change it how you want. I'm still looking for Smoo's question. He says he's posted it 3 times. Smoo.
Yeah, you can always email me. Smoo, you know my email address. Email.
Yes.
Yeah, unless he already has done.
I'm seeing comments from Smoo. I'm just not finding the question.
Yeah, Jamie Bourne, he sent me an email. He's asking about I think he's doing his tabletop gaming again. He's currently building the Warlord games, German paratroopers, and asking on how to paint the camouflaged helmet and smock, and how much wash should he put over the model. In tabletop, I wouldn't put too much wash over it because you're going to lose the sort of detail that's there. And bearing in mind that these figures are going to handle quite a bit, so I would protect whatever you put on with a varnish coat. As for painting the camouflage helmet and smock, I wouldn't go into too much, probably try too much detail on that sort of size.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. If you're doing it for display models, or if you're doing it for actual tabletop gaming, it doesn't really matter. But the beauty of tabletop miniatures is they're designed to be viewed from a distance. They're not like normal models where you might get up close and be like, oh yeah. They're kind of designed to be seen on the tabletop. So when you do miniatures, there are, if you go into miniatures like that, into competition, there's different things like tabletop standard and, like, you know, gold standard, professional standard. And tabletop standard is, what they mean is it looks really good when it's viewed from that far away on the tabletop. So you can afford to be a little less detailed than, say, a 1/35th or 1/24th scale figure or something like that.
Yeah.
In terms of the camouflage was never consistent across the whole war. Find some photographs online and pick one that you think A, you can paint, and B, looks kind of cool to you. Uniform colours and things like, we often get questions saying, what are the right colours for a German uniform or a American uniform or anything like that? I said it before, the thing to remember about World War II uniforms is that across the whole of the war, the companies that made the uniforms differed over the 5 years. They used different companies. Whoever gave them the cheapest quote, they would make them for. They used different dyes. Some dyes were not available because there was a war on. So the colours were never consistent, to the point where if you look at actual World War II, say, American paratrooper uniforms, the M1943 jacket and the pants, sometimes the colours didn't even match on the same soldier. So don't sweat too much. Look for some photographs online, get your reference, look at what you're happy with. But remember, it's tabletop, so it's designed to be a way away. And for washes, you might want to try using some inks. Try using some inks. A lot of tabletop model makers or miniature makers use standard artist inks as washes.
If you've got to think, if you think of a real person that's stood a long way away, far, far away.
This cow is very small.
This cow is very small.
This cow is a long way away.
A human being that's 1 inch tall stood across the other side of the field, and he's wearing camouflage material, whether it be brown and green or green and brown, it's all going to blend into one. So it'll all become one colour. It won't be a specific, you won't be able to spot specific colours on that. So don't worry too much about it. Look at it.
But if you do want to do a camouflage scheme, there's nothing wrong with that. But you just want to use like the super tiniest brush you can imagine is kind of the obvious thing. And when you are painting anything tiny details, thin your paints. Thin your paints. With any miniatures, anything small, please, for the love of God, thin your paints.
Yeah. And Spidey Q8 said he's discovered that most of his models are now across the room standard. Yeah. We actually had a category, judging model boats. We had actually had a category that was called standoff. It was in a standoff category, so you had to stand and judge it from 6 foot away.
Yeah,
and that's about it. Yeah. So,
Gary Milne asked a question. Downside of this hobby as a kid was working on the whims of parents, making space as and when, as opposed to grown-ups. What do respective other halves think of the hobby / space it takes up? I think that's more for the chat. I can't say, there is no other half, so I have no problem at all. Ted, how does I know why?
My other half was glad to get rid of me because I started, like most people, started on the living room table. I was on the living room table, building on the living room table for many a year. The only downside was that every time I came to the end of a modelling session, I have to clear everything away, clean it all up, try and hide the spilt paint, but yeah, clear it all up, put everything away. Then next time I wanted to do something was to get it all out again. Then I progressed onto a computer table, which was still in the living room, still in the same room at the side of it on a computer table. So that got a little bit sort of better because I could leave things out. And then it just sort of grew out of all proportion, going from a spare bedroom when the daughter moved out, got a spare bedroom, yay. Then I was thrown out of there, and here I am in the shed. So yeah, that's how it goes, unfortunately. You sort of outgrow your space and make the most of what you got. So the wife tolerates it because I can make all the mess I want in here, and she doesn't mind.
It gets you out of the way, Ted. That's the important bit.
Yeah,
gets you out from under her feet.
Yeah. As long as she gets the laundry put in and the chicken let out and things like that, I'm fine.
Yeah, we've had a few answers from the chat. Alan at Northwest Modeler says he converted a whole bedroom for his modelling, and his wife loves kicking him into his room. TK, obviously, folks know, built his own room in his attic. Yeah. Dave Wiseman Barker, Gary, my wife loves me. My wife loves it. I'm out of her hair.
Yeah, and the thing is that the wife regains control of the TV remote.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Oh,
Now, here's the other thing. Here's a more interesting question. Do any of you out there in the chat or watching have a partner who actually got interested in what you were doing and joined in, or was already interested in it? But it's not often you'll see that. I know a few examples, but one of our good friends, Chandra, her and her husband both do RT stuff anyway. So, but you know, there's people where maybe you came in with your hobby and your other half, male or female, got interested and joined in, and now you both do the hobby. So any of you do that, that'd be kind of cool. It's not as good for comedy though, because it's more funny to have, you know, she must be a maid kicking you out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm sure there must be lots of women out there. We do see ladies that come in the chat as well, independent ladies that build their own stuff, and more power to their elbow.
I think it's brilliant when women get involved in the hobby, because they're kind of really underrepresented in the model making thing. It's not so much it's a sort of man's world. It's just you don't see a lot of female modelers. I mean, we see them from time to time in the various groups we run, but it's nice when you get them coming into your groups or coming into your clubs or whatever, because it's a hobby anyone can enjoy. It's not a male thing at all.
Yeah, sometimes you find that women as well have a different take on the subject, and they come up with a lot better ideas. Skin tones, for instance, Chandra does fantastic skin tones.
Yeah,
and I think that's maybe being sexist here? Is that down to putting makeup on things on? Does she appreciate the tones of the skin a little bit more?
Stream shut down. No, but I agree. Like I say, we both know, and a lot of people in chat will know Chandra's stuff, and Chandra's incredible at doing figures and all kinds of stuff, and crazy bear guys. But I know a number of female modelers, and I don't hate to say it, but I have to admit it. A lot of them, if not most of them, are better than me. So
yeah, that'd be good.
So.
Yeah. And it's always a surprise when you see a good model, and the winner is. Crikey, it's a woman.
I mean, I'm one of those people that I get annoyed when I see people going, "Oh, it's a girl." No, it's a hobby for everyone. Anyone can make a model. Doesn't matter who you are, what sex you are, what colour you are, where you come from. Doesn't matter. It's a hobby for everyone. It's an art, and it's just people having fun. So yeah, it's nice. But we do need more female representation in the community, because there's just not enough.
Yeah, I got that question from Smo, I think.
Yes. Yeah. I still can't find it in the chat. So
is that a question for Fox? He said he got an MG Freedom Gundam for his 50th birthday.
Yes.
No polycaps. Seems to be all PS. Any issues with paint types?
Hang on, wait a minute. No poly. Oh, yes, it's the. Is it the? If he means it's the 2.0, then the 2.0 doesn't come. I think doesn't come with polycaps, because it's kind of a new design. I think. What was the rest of the question?
Any issues with paint? Any issues with paint types?
Only that you get with any Bandai Gunpla, which is don't use washes of any kind unless it's just water, and that's it.
Version 2, no polycaps.
Yes, version 2, no polycaps. The thing with Bandai plastic, it's not baked, apparently, which means it's very susceptible to thinners. So make sure you prime the living carp out of it. Prime everything, even inside pieces you're never going to see inside, because if you get anything in there, you can paint it and stuff as normal. The trick is when it comes to weathering, you can't do a thinned paint wash where you've thinned it with like your Tamiya X20A, or if you're using lacquer colors, you've used lacquer thinners, or even like oil paint thinners. If you slap them all over and they get into a part of the kit where there's no primer, or there's exposed plastic, or where there's two pieces, say, under tension, like a really tight fit, two pieces together, it can weaken that plastic and it will crumble. So the trick is to prime everything really carefully inside and out. If you can avoid using thinned paint washes, try and do so. If you have to, use either a gunk wash with oil paints, or use water-based stuff like the UMP washes. You can do things like oil paint dot filters and things like that. That's not so bad, because you're not pouring thinned paint all over. You're getting thinner on your brush, but you're just carefully applying it to the surface. But I would avoid that on, say, the inner frame parts. But other than that, just treat it as normal. As long as you keep your paint coats thin.
Be careful not to slap it on.
Don't slap it on. The other thing as well is, in some areas you might have like they're engineered to be snap fit, so they're not engineered to have wobbly parts. So it's worth, if you've got parts that go together but you say painting them separately, mask off the pegs just so you don't get paint, because you will get really tight fits. They're so delightfully engineered that the tight is tight enough, even I'll talk English now. The fit is tight enough just on its own. So if you put a lot of paint on there as well, you might get fit problems. So just cover up any major pegs that stuff is that's going to attach to, and you should be fine.
Spider Q8 asks, do white spirit washes really affect gunpla that badly?
Yes, it's any thinners. That could be acrylic thinners, Tamiya X20A, your UMP, airbrush thinner, any acrylic thinners, alcohol, oil paint thinners, mineral spirits. The oil paint thinners and enamel thinners are the same. They're all mineral spirits. Yeah, any kind of mineral spirits like terps, anything at all will potentially weaken the plastic, which is why when I'm building a gunpla, the only washes I will ever do is water-based clay wash like the UMP stuff, or maybe a gunk wash, which is just the neat paint. You can do things like you can use pin washes and things like that, because that's where you're being really careful. You've got a panel and you want to get a brush on a panel line and you're just touching it to that, and it's fine. That's not going to cause a problem. And oil dot filters, like I say, where it's just a very tiny amount of thinner you're wiping over, but where you're just dousing something in the thinner, it's going to get into the corners and pool, and that's going to weaken the plastic. It's a quirk of Bandai's plastic. It's a right pain in the bum, because a lot of your normal weathering techniques go out the window. So things like streaking with oil paints, you have to be really careful, especially on the inner frame. I tend to do a lot of the weathering on the outer armor, but not too much on the inner frame, because I don't want to risk stuff getting into the joints and making it all fall apart. I did the mega size RX-78 too, and the knee completely fell apart and shattered. I had to rebuild it from the ground up. So yeah,
it's a way of finding things out. Yeah,
yes.
Unfortunately, Fox will find these things out, so you don't have to.
Yes, basically treat it as normal. Just don't do washes unless it's just water and clay.
Yeah, brilliant. And now I did spot another question earlier on from Shadowland Scale Models. How do you guys paint your guns, i.e. World War I Spandau airplane?
I'm not this kind of guns. I haven't got any guns. I've got pea shooters.
Guns, painting guns. Well, what I would normally do, I have got one. Here's one I prepared earlier. Not an airplane gun, but the scattergun from my model of the submarine. What I would do with that, I primed it, built it, primed it, and then I will airbrush a start again. I will airbrush.
You having my speech problems tonight?
I'm having your speech problems. Yeah, Norman.
We're both in Arkwright mode. Granville.
Granville. Yeah, I will airbrush it in a gunmetal. I will airbrush it because it goes on a lot finer. After that, I will then paint it over with maybe a metallic black, and then sort of chip it very slightly, chip it on the moving parts, things like that, places where you would find hands and things rubbing off the paint, and it gives it a good effect for that way. Yep. So it's nice to see somebody that's building a World War I airplane as well. We must have a look at some of them sometime in the.
Yeah, I mean, guns is one of those things that's always kind of given me pause, because it depends. Obviously, you've got like the realistic guns from real vehicles and like World War I and II. Then you've got your fictional guns like my beam rifles and things on my gunpla. It's always difficult because there's no real set way to do a gun color. You get colors like gunmetal, and they can vary wildly from manufacturer. So the only thing I've ever found is just to play around with it. The one thing I've never figured out is how to do a proper blued gun. Like you get like you get your little revolver, your little snub revolver, and it's got the kind of blued metal look.
Mm-hmm.
There's apparently a way to do that. And Adam Savage on tested.com has mentioned it a few times, but he's never shown how he does it. And I hate him for that.
Yeah, I think you'll probably find that more of a larger scale guns. Yeah, some of the one-to-one scales. I don't know how to do it myself. Maybe it's a technique similar to how they do the motorbike exhausts, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it could be on any scale gun. If you're building like I'm doing my gunpla, the guns can be that long. But so it depends. But even just simple things like paint it black and dry brush metallics over, or start with the gunmetal base. There's no real hard and set rules. I have seen some incredible work. A lot of times, what I do see is people make the guns and they look super shiny, but in reality, the guns probably aren't that really super shiny. They're probably a bit grubby and grimy, especially if it's like a World War I aircraft. They didn't know what they were doing. They didn't have a workshop with all the planes there being maintained. The guns are probably going to be a bit grubby and grimy and scuffed and scraped and not quite as shiny.
I remember the guns I've used myself are not actually shiny. They're They're really a satin type colour.
Ted's giving stuff away now that he's used firearms.
I shouldn't have mentioned that. Yeah, they become a satin type colour, and just the oil that they clean the guns with sort of keeps a sheen on them. That's about all, really. But they don't become that really worn out. But it depends how you want it to look. Hopefully that's answered the question on guns.
Yes. Somebody said they'd sent you an email with a question on, but I've forgotten who it was.
I'll have a look. Oh, some more emails coming. Right.
And apparently we've banned someone as well so far in the chat.
Oh, well.
I don't know what they put in, but apologies to people in the chat if somebody was misbehaving.
Right. I'll read it out.
It was Stefan Last who posted the question.
Last, here he is. Hi, guys. Stefan Last from Sweden. Hello, from Sweden. I always used to shy away from bare metal planes when I last was into building, as I thought they looked too hard to get a good look. As he's now returning to the hobby after nearly 2 decades, I'd like to try some bare metal finishes once he starts getting the hang of things. My question is, what's the best way to get a slightly different shade of metal for the various panels on a plane? Different colours, or one colour with a drop or 2 of black to darken it, clear between each layer. I hope the question makes sense. I think I get what you're talking about. How do you make different colours for different parts of an airplane?
Depends how you're doing your metal color. Now, I'm no expert, but the easiest way is to use slightly different colored metallic paints, like AK's metal paints, True Metals, and things like that. They have things like bright aluminium exhaust, exhaust. I can't remember what they call them now. There's like steel, iron, aluminium, anodized steel. They have slightly different shades to them, and when you put them all together, say you're doing a classic sort of starfighter, I've seen them where they've used just the slightly different colors and something they do like exhaust manifold color compared to say bright aluminium is only very subtle, but it's just there, you can just see it. But the other thing I've seen people do is, if they've not got a big range of different metallic color paints, you can, if you're clever, you can paint it all one color, but then mask off panels and use very fine mist of, say, a slightly clear color just to tint it. Like Tamiya Smoke is brilliant for doing, if you've got, say, a silver panel here and here, if you mask this one off and do a very, very fine coat of quite thin Tamiya Smoke, it just gives it an ever so slight brown exhaust stainy tinge. So sometimes it's just a case of using very thin, clear colors. But there are lots of different metal colors, and some paints you can't really do that with. So
yeah, I was just having a look on eModels website. We did show a metal painting techniques book. Was it last week or the week before?
Yeah, I think it was the aircraft panels one. I think it was
aircraft panels. I was trying to find it so I could show you.
Phil East did mention the Vallejo metal color range. That's the one I meant to mention, not the AK True Metals. The Vallejo metal colors have things like exhaust manifold, and they're all very slightly different, and they all work really well.
Yeah, I can't seem to find it at the moment. Never mind. Yeah, if you have a look on the eModels website, you'll find actually a book on metal techniques and things like that. Might be of interest to you to have a skim through that, and then have a decide what way you want to do it. Sometimes it can easily even be down to the primer coat you put onto your surface can change the colours slightly that way.
Yep.
So yeah, right. That's it. I've lost the screen. Couldn't see what everybody was saying. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, TK said spray panels are different colours before you spraying on the metal colour. Yeah.
Yes. You're gonna have to tell me how to pronounce this. I'm assuming it's Spidiquate.
No, I said it was Spidey Q8.
Spidey Q8 could be.
Sounds better, Spidey Q8.
Yeah, Spidey Q8. Thanks for when he answered the question about Gumpler. He says, "Thanks, Fox. Only built one Gumpler for my son and didn't get a chance to paint. He wanted to play with it immediately. It's the one downside of Gumpler and children. Yeah, you might not get to paint them all."
Yeah. Right. Anything else?
Any more questions from the chat?
No. Right.
Smooth says Spidey Q8.
Spidey Q8. Spidey Q8. Yeah, I was right then. Sounds all right.
So maybe he's got an Audi, or he comes from Q8.
Q8, or he's got a spider.
Yeah, that's probably a bad thing.
It could be a spider. Should we go have a look at what's in store?
Let's have a look at what's in store. I may have to run away from the microphone for a few moments.
All right. Let's go and have a look at what's in store. Right, I'll find the share button and not the stop broadcast button.
And make sure you've locked it to yourself as well.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I need to do that, don't I? Yeah, lock it to me. Right, I'm locked. I'm locked. Talk to me, Fox. Will it
Blah
move?
blah blah blah
Right,
blah.
it's not
Talking,
moving.
talking.
Right. Share. All right. All right. Let's have a look at what's in store this week. We've chosen a couple
Yes.
of things at random. Most of them have come out of the offers box. And this is a shiny car to start with. The Revell 124th McLaren. Yeah, 124th scale.
570S.
It's orange, obviously. Although you could paint it technically. Have you ever seen one in orange?
No, I've worked on McLarens and I've seen one in a volcano red, which is, I think it's volcano red, which is very nice. The thing about McLarens is when you actually see them in real person, they're not that great. They're really fast and sleek, but they're not. When you've got a detail one and you see how bad the paint job is on a real one, if you're making a McLaren model and you're worried that your paint job's not the best in the world, don't worry. The paint job on a real McLaren is not the best in the world. I've seen them. I've worked on them. They're not great. I've seen better.
When I was in Australia, I went. Our hotel was next door to a McLaren showroom. I thought, oh, I'll go and have a look because they had about 2 or 3 of these McLarens in. I went to the door. It was locked.
They saw you coming, Ted. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think they have a button underneath the bench, underneath the desk.
Yes.
They see a potential customer coming, and they either lock or unlock the door. I obviously didn't look as though I had the available funds to purchase one of these, so they didn't let me in.
No.
I just had to lick the windows instead.
Yeah, with a good flavour. I've been to the McLaren headquarters and factory. I've walked around the factory, and I've got to tell you, the McLaren building itself, their quarters, is an amazing building. It's all powered by its own lake. So it's got this lake out the front, and it powers itself. 2 things I came away learning was, the food there is terrible. The food at the McLaren is just terrible. It's just like, wow. We had an event, and it was literally little triangle sandwiches that your mum would make, and some hash browns that were dry and not very nice. But the factory is amazing because if you think of a factory is a grimy, noisy place with machinery and everything else. No, this was like, it was like all tiled and clean and quiet. And apart from obviously they were revving some engines up, it was the least factory I've ever come across. It was more like, I can't really explain it. It was, everything was white and gleaming and tiled. It was clean. It was bizarre. It was bizarre.
Yeah, maybe it didn't. They weren't even revving engines up. It was just maybe a sound effect outside. Just made it busy. Yeah. So I was once a potential McLaren customer, and because they wouldn't let me in, I thought, I'll go somewhere else and buy one.
I'll go to Skoda instead.
Yeah, I'll go to Skoda.
Or Ford.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went to BMW and bought a Mini. So I didn't buy a McLaren, but there's one, £20.69. It's not a bad price for it.
Festa 67 Workshop says clinical. Yes. Yeah. Not well. Yeah, it was, but it was kind of almost. It wasn't clinical to the point of like. It's hard to explain. It was friendly and warm, but also completely clean. It was the most unfactory ever.
Yeah. So I won't be buying a McLaren this year then anyway. So. Right, let's have a look. Oh, we've gone from the super shiny to a bit of a workhorse.
I'm just going to go away from the microphone for one moment, Tedward.
Okie doke.
Back in a moment.
Yeah, this is the Thunder models. I'm not quite sure if anybody's heard of Thunder models. You must have bear with me by this at the moment because as Fox has gone away from the screen a moment, I can't actually see the chat. So if you're saying anything or asking questions, I can't actually see it. This is something I thought could either be used in civilian life or use it as a military tractor, shown here on an airfield. So it could be used for that. It's a Thunder Models 135 Army tractor, ideal for any sort of dioramas or anything you're going to use for that. There's also a weathering kit. I've seen a MiG civilian vehicles weathering kit that you could weather this all up, and it looks stunning, done or weathered up. I'll try and find that for you later on.
I'm back.
Oh, he's back just in time.
Yeah.
Have
you seen the keys to my tractor?
That's
my tractor, that is.
Well, listen, yeah, I could do a farmer impression. Get off that tractor!
Get off my land!
Get off my land! Yeah.
The steering wheel on that tractor is very tall.
Yes.
Is it a very small tractor, or do they have very tall drivers in the US Army in World War II?
Could be a stand-up one.
Could be.
Yeah, I was just saying there's a MiG civilian weathering kit, isn't there? That they actually base the weathering techniques on a tractor. So if you wanted to try that out, so
Paul Stewart says, anyone know if there are any modern tractor kits? Yes, there are. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there are plenty of like John Deere's and things like that, and JCBs and stuff like that.
I've never seen any of them. I'd like to see some of them. I know that one or two people that might be interested in them.
Yeah, companies like Hasegawa and stuff do a lot of things like industrial plant. Bizarrely.
Yeah, I've a few friends. Being Cumbria, there's a lot of farmers around here, and there's a few friends that will be instructors. So I'll have to have a look for that one. Right, this one is
just an excuse for me to do my Phil from Time Team accent. Well, what it is, Tony, you got your stratification with your Roman artifacts, your Anglo-Saxon. Now I'll move on now.
Carson's model sport pig collector. But this is in the office section this week.
Yes, I love this stuff.
Yeah. If you want to know how to strip paint from your kits, from your old kits, from the shiny metal chrome, from your chrome parts. It sounds painful. Stripping.
Yeah. Wouldn't want to swallow that the wrong way.
Yeah.
This stuff is like, this stuff is the bee's knees. It comes in aerosol form, which is this one, or just a bottle of liquid form. And it's basically, it's kind of a last resort paint remover because it will remove pretty much everything from everything. It's basically a big container. It's a container full of basically neat xylene. So it's not something you want to inhale ever, but it's absolutely dispensable. If, for example, you have things like miniature figures, like you do in your tabletop miniatures, if you buy a load of, say, Warhammer figures off eBay and they've got the worst paint job ever, get some of this on it, especially if they're metal figures. The advantage it has is you can even use it on clear plastic parts and it won't do any damage to the clear plastic. It will just take the paint off. But the advantage to this one, which is the aerosol version, is it comes with a little plastic tube that you can put on the end. It's great for cleaning out a really grubby airbrush. As long as your airbrush is solvent safe, you can spray a little bit of this into the airbrush cup, leave it to sit for a second and spray it out. It will get rid of anything. It will break down enamels, acrylics. I think it gets rid of lacquers, pretty sure. It takes a bit of work. But pretty much anything, it will take the paint off. I wouldn't put it on a Bandai kit because it will eat the plastic, because Bandai's needy and a snowflake when it comes to plastic. But yeah, this stuff is the bees. It will take paint off anything, and especially if you make a mess of, say, your clear canopy, you can just get a little bit on and rub it on and it will take that paint off no problem and not damage the clear plastic. Just don't breathe it in because it's really toxic.
200 mils, so that's going to last you quite a long time.
I've had a can of that for about 4.5 years. And it's only just starting to run out. I've got myself a bottle of it as well, which there's no point showing you because I'm not on camera, but it's a really handy thing, especially if you want to get rid of a little bit of paint off a small part or an area. Just get some on a cotton bud and get that on there. It'll get rid of it.
Oh, good.
The only thing to say with this one, this is the airbrush, this is the aerosol one. It's aerosol and xylene. Can't ship that outside the UK.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, UK.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we've got the bottle form in as well. But yes, if you're in the UK and you need some stuff, it's great for cleaning your airbrush. But I tend to use it just when it's really, really clogged up. Not every time.
Right, let's move on. Let's go to the next one. A bit of a military type thing. Going back to, it could be a mate in a diorama for the tractor we just saw. This is.
I think you need to make that in a diorama with that mud going on because that looks awesome.
Yeah. So this is the 1.5 ton 4x4 command truck. It's a Dodge by Roden.
You're a Dodge.
I'm not too sure of Roden. I'm not experienced them myself. Somebody else in the chat might know of them. Looks a simple enough kit to build. 1.5 tons. 4x4 command truck discounted. Yeah, discounted. This is in offers as well, down to 39 quid. Tenner off this one.
Yeah, all the stuff we're showing tonight, by the way, is in the offers section.
Yeah, up here, if you come into the eModels website with a little new logo, offers, there's an offers section. Now this is changed daily, almost daily. Worth checking every time you come into the eModels site. What's on offer? There's always something to tempt you there. We did notice today there were 1 or 2 new things in the offers, but that's up to you to go and have a look, find out what they are.
It's worth checking occasionally or regularly, because some of the stuff will be in there for a day, some will be in there for a week, some could be in there until it all sells out. And the guys at eModels do go in and change it every day. So if you see something in offers, oh, that's really good, just snap it up, because it might not be there the next day.
And the guys at eModels are not putting these in offers just because they've got a lot of stock or they want to get rid of them. They want to sort of tease you a little bit, you know.
Yeah. What Pete said to me was, we want, you know, we've got so many good customers, we want to give something back. So they've been asked for a long time to do special offers. Now the way eModels works is when you buy stuff from eModels, you're already getting a discount by default anyway. But they want to give something a little bit back, so they'll go through and regularly put offers on things they think you might find interesting. So it's not just, yeah, we can't get rid of that. Let's just put it up. Let's just knock the price down. And we'll show you some of the stuff. We'll show you later on. You'll realize it's not just rubbish. Some of the stuff is really good, and the price reductions, as I say, can be from a day to a month to a week, and some of them can be a £5, some can be 20 quid, some can be 100 quid. It varies, so it's worth just checking it out.
Yeah. It's sometimes worth bearing in mind that sometimes we'll have a look around in store. It might not be in offers, and people think, oh yeah, that got quite a bit of interest, that, so he'll shove it in the offers section.
Tony Black says Rodin make a lot of World War I airplanes.
Ah, right, that's where I've seen the name
before. I recognise the name, but I've not come across this.
That's where I've seen it before. We must have a look at that one time, maybe next week, or maybe
what, World War I stuff?
World War I stuff,
yeah. Biplanes. I do like this. Everybody's made a biplane at some point.
No, I don't think I've ever made a biplane.
Ted, you banned.
No.
You're totally banned. Wait, no, that means I've got to do this.
Maybe
Ted, you're not banned now.
Yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should.
Oh, you should do a biplane. I need to do a biplane at some point.
Yeah. Have a look at that. Right, let's have a look at something different.
We spent 10 minutes totally not talking about that model. I love that. It looks cool. Go and get it.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, as Fox says, build it in the mud. Like that.
Yeah, build it in the mud. Not literally, obviously.
Yeah. Could be a new take on model building. Building in the mud. Let's have a look at something totally up to date. Maybe a Christmas present for you. No, maybe a Christmas present for that young lad in your life.
So for we mean for you, obviously.
For you, yeah.
Not everybody realizes that eModels, as well as model kits, they also do remote control stuff like this, and they do drones and things like that. So we thought we'd show something different for a change.
Yeah, the drones are really, pardon the pun, drones are really taking off now. Hey, do you get that?
Yeah, well done, Ted.
Yeah, drones, helicopters, really a fun thing to fly and build. Well, you don't have to build these; they're just more or less come ready to fly. But a bit of fun. This one can be. We just picked this one at random out of the list of many things.
Now, this is in the offer section. Do note it's got basically a 90 quid. Ish. I think 90 quid not lopped off it. So, like I said, some of the price drops can be massive.
Yeah.
Was it? What was it? 290. I can't see on my screen. Was it 299?
254 down to
254. Oh yeah, my mistake.
Yeah, down to 209. So
yeah,
great little lot for that. This one, it's a lot of bump about it there, but it says it can actually be flown inside. I don't think it may be ideal to fly it in the living room, but certainly in a hall or something like that. And it's strong enough as well to take it outside when the weather gets better, in a bit of a breeze. But largely,
apparently, I mean, I've tried flying I tried having a go at remote control plane once, and it was miserable and a failure. But apparently, flying a helicopter is like the next skill level up.
Yeah, but a lot of I do know a lot of these model helicopters now are sort of balanced, so they're very easy for beginners to fly. And I'm probably thinking that this is going to be one of them, rather than the full Chinook looking type helicopters which take an expert to fly with its twin.
Yeah, I think these are designed for ease of use.
This is an easy to fly type thing.
Fred the Foot's model says he would crash it in 10 minutes. Well, that's 9 minutes longer than I'd last trying to fly it.
Yeah. Now I think Pete's the man to talk to in eModels if you wanted to find out about radio control stuff. Is Pete the expert on these, or is it
I don't know,
or is it James? Anyway,
James,
if you have any questions about the RC helicopters and things that they do have a look on the website. If you have any questions, just drop them a note on the contact us form.
Yeah. They do things like helicopters, drones. They do cars and trucks as well. Don't know if they do planes. I've never actually noticed that.
I don't know. What's that? If have a look on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. We'll move along to the last one. A bit of technology again. I don't know if this will fit on that helicopter, but it's a full first person. Well, I forget the first person view.
Yeah, first person view video package.
PowerTech package.
Yeah, it's basically if you want to stick a camera on your helicopter or your drone or what have you, this is the whole kit. You've got your camera, you've got the screen that you can view it on. You can see there, and you've got the mask so you can see what's going on the screen. This is all the kit you need to basically equip your drone / flying remote control vehicle of some sort with an awesome camera. It comes with everything. This is the one I meant to say. This was $299.99. It's now dropped down to $149. There you go. Yeah. So if you are an RC nut, or you've got your drone or your camera, and you wanted to get it all spanky-fied up with the cameras, check this out because it's basically half price. It's worth checking it out. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Worth bearing in mind as well, it doesn't actually have to go on a drone. You could put it on your car. Put it on your model boat. You saw model boats before.
You could stick it on the bumper of your car and do what the Australians call a heady cam.
Yeah.
They used to call it a heady cam. I remember watching a rally once, and there was an Australian commentator. It was when they first started putting cameras in the bumpers of cars. And they're like, let's go to the heady cam and see what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've got that. Plenty of fun to be had by all. And once again, this is down from 300 quid, 299.99, 300 quid, down to 149 £.
But just be aware that you're probably not best if you want to fly your drone with a camera on it over some super secret military installation. That's probably not a good idea.
Yeah, not a good idea.
But we totally want the video if you do. We want the footage if you do.
Yeah, there are places where
the price drop on that is like 100 quid. So, I mean, more than like half price.
Half price.
If you've been looking at this kind of kit for your drone or plane, a copter or whatever you've got, this is a good. And don't hang around because once these have gone, they're gone. They go back to normal price. So.
Brilliant.
Lots of motorcyclists put cameras on their helmets. Says Tony Black.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I've seen that.
Don't think you'd use that for this because there'd be no use for the remote control bit. But
so brilliant idea. Ideas for Christmas. It's not too far away.
A little bit different this week. It's not all just model kits.
Did anybody ever find out how far away Christmas is?
Far too not far enough.
Stop sharing.
Yes. Don't forget to unlock it as well, Tedward.
I'm unlocked. I'm out of focus. There we go. Back in focus. Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, so right. Hopefully that was what's in store.
Good fun little selection tonight.
Yeah. We'll have a look at different things again next week.
Yes.
Right.
To answer someone's question, yes, I had to go for a wee. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. I do have a drone under here as well. Yeah, TK said he's got a drone gathering dust. Yeah, I've got one.
Well, you know why? Because he hasn't put a camera on it. So stick a camera on it. You can fly over all the places.
Right. Where are we up to? Right.
So that's what's in store. Any questions from the chat? Now we're back in the give us stuff to
we're
talk about section
we're
again.
back. I'm back. There's no more questions come through. We do have a couple more questions from Paul. Have we ever attempted to make our own photo etch?
Nope.
No. I know you can do it. You can get kits for it. And I think Maplins. What's the American version of Maplins?
Radio Shack / Archer / Tandy / yes.
Yeah, I think you can make your own. You can get kits from them to make your own. But a bit much of a fuss, I think. So I wouldn't really bother. But no, I've never made my own. I have seen it done. Well, I've seen YouTubes of it being done. I know there are kits to do it. No, I think the kits that you can get are for photo etching circuit boards. I'm sure the principle's the same. In fact, I
have no idea. I really don't know.
Yeah. And is there anything
TK
else?
says he can't fly his drone because he lives in a no-fly zone because of an airfield. So there you go. Which makes your drone an excellent purchase then, TK. Well planned.
Yeah. Hi, TK. Look what we've got you for Christmas. We've got you a drone.
Yay! You can't use it. Oh.
Can't use it. Right. Anything else you can do with thin sheets?
Anything you want?
Anything else you can do with thin brass sheets that isn't photo etch?
You could make tubes and pipes and any custom parts you want.
You can do plating on tanks and things like that. You could put extra plating on and rivet it all and things like that.
I mean, if you had the right tools, you could kind of make anything out of it. It's just like plastic car, but metal, not plastic.
Yeah, a little bit harder to work with.
Yeah, I'd say plastic car might be easier.
Yeah. And finally, can you tell us how much a hawk's worth? Hawk's worth. Is it more or less than a chicken? Is it more or less than a model making chicken? Model making chicken is priceless. Yeah, that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah, there's no price on model making chicken.
No price on model making chicken. Yeah, she finds all my lost parts.
Spidey Q8 tells Paul you could make a scale model replica of thick brass sheet using thin brass sheet. You could do a half scale brass sheet by making it half as thick as the sheet is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can make a steam engine. Get enough parts to make a steam engine.
Does anybody remember in chat? Here's a question. Just talking to steam engines now. Way back in my childhood, there was a big craze for these little steam engines you could buy. They were made by a company called Mamod, and they were like various different sizes. Some of them had like reciprocating wheels, like a proper steam engine type thing, and some were just little simple static ones. But you got like little blocks of petroleum, of like some kind of fuel. You put them in and light them, and they go, and the water and the steam and the pistons and the. Does anybody remember those? Because my brother had one when I was a little kid, and they were amazing.
Used to get one. Yeah, as Smooth says, used to run them on meths. My brother had a Rolls Royce one that you could drive around the carpet.
Yeah, and well, we used to have these little white blocks of fuel, which was assumed like lighter fuel briquettes or something. But there's no way you get that nowadays for kids. I mean, we were kids. Nowadays, you wouldn't have that because of health and safety. Spidey Q8 says, me and my dad had one that ran on maths. Yep.
Yeah, run them on maths. Brilliant, brilliant little piece of engineering. Yeah, but probably health and safety these days. Are they still available? Yeah, we can sometimes find them in antique shops.
Yeah, so we've had our first spam porn commenter in the comments. Apologies to the people in chat. It's gone now and been dealt with.
I missed it. Right. Right.
Dave Wise, the room gone barker says, I had one. I think my dad drank the meths. Yeah. Right. Tony Black says you sometimes see them in antique shops. If I remember rightly, I put it in chat. The name was, they're probably still going, as Mamod.
Mamod, yeah. That's them. Yeah. Right. What else are we going to
do? Questions from anyone in the chat would be nice.
Yeah, questions for everybody. We're running out of time this evening.
We need to tell people who won last week.
Oh, we do. We forgot about that.
Yes.
Yes. I would get a picture about where it was last week, but I can't find it.
You didn't write down the number, did you?
I didn't write down the number.
I can't actually remember what it was last week.
Yeah, it was the ISEF VW
yes,
VW van.
The camper van.
The camper van, that was it. That you could either build as an ISEF camper, ISEF van, or you could build it as a camper van. We thought it would be a great idea if you blocked all the windows off and made it a camper van.
I think you should paint it pink and put Hello Kitty stickers all over it, but that's just me.
Flowers and everything all over it. Right. Shall I? Do you want me to announce it, or are you going to announce it? I'll put my.
I can't remember who it was now, so you can announce it.
Oh well, I better do that then. Good job, I wrote it down.
Yes, good girl. You wrote it down when I told you what it was.
Right, put them away. Right.
I'm getting a notification from offside. Hang on.
Don't forget the prize winner.
We're doing that now.
Oh.
We're doing that now. Okay. The producer was mentioning to remind her about and we're doing it now.
Yeah. Hello. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. We're doing it now. Yes, we're doing it now. Okay.
that was me mum. She watches the stream. Don't forget the prize giveaway.
Yeah. Right. The
chat's all going, hi Fox's mum, before I said it because they all know now.
Right. Yeah. Right. The quote from last week was "Pack my camper."
Pack my camper.
Pack my camper. And just before the show started, we had a randomly picked name from a randomly picked thingy.
We use a website that picks a random YouTube comment on a page.
And the winner was comment number 10 this week, and it was David Moores. Oh, well done, David Moores.
Yay! Is that you doing jazz hands, Ted?
Justin, hello. Yeah, so I don't know if David Moores is watching this evening. Maybe he's watching silently in the background or he's watching at a later date. But I will remember to put it in the comments this time.
No, not in the comments.
Not in the comments. In the
description.
In the description.
There you go. Ted always says, "I'll put it in the blurb later on." And he puts it in the comments, and that quickly disappears amongst all the millions of others.
Yeah.
I'll put the email address in the chat, but basically, David, did you say?
Yeah, David.
Yeah, just mail Ted at eModels.co.uk with your details, address, and so on. Include your phone number in case we have to use a courier, and we'll get that sent out to you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
brilliant. Right.
Why are you saying thank you when we're giving him stuff?
Thank you for taking part in our.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah, thank you for taking part in our excellent giveaway.
Yes.
Right. I'm lost. I'm all lost. I'm all flustered.
I know we're all a bit. I nearly said shawaddy waddy for. I don't know why. Why did I nearly say shawaddy waddy? I was a bit. I was gonna say we're a bit doolally. My brain suddenly went shawaddy waddy would be a good use of word right now, and I'm like,
yeah,
we're all a bit doolally tonight.
Right. Yeah, it's the gin. No, it's not the gin. No, it's not the gin. No, gin? Who mentioned gin?
Gin? It's vodka. Don't be daft.
Right. Where were we? I know. That's where we were. Right. Shall we?
Should we do a mug?
A mug.
Do we have mugs?
Yeah, we have a mug. I'm sure. I'm sure I must have a mug somewhere. Do you have a question for a mug?
Oh, you had to ask that question, didn't you? Let's have a think.
I'm frantically.
Get water for a minute, Ted.
I'm frantically rocking my bench for something we can.
Look around so we can ask a question about.
yeah. I've got a pile of washing here. What? Let's all read through this. No, we won't do that. Yeah.
Should we do a really super easy one?
Yep. Yeah. Go on then. Do super
okay. Easy. Now you can't answer until we say go. And as usual, it's a first answer we see on screen. So
yeah,
when you get the question, type in your answer. It's not cheese and onion, Scott.
Not yet, Scott. Not yet. Hold on.
Type in your answer. It's not, and it's the first answer that we see on screen. Now we see the chat differently to you guys because you see it prioritized for you. We see it prioritized for everybody. So, was this for a mug, wasn't it? So we're really disorganized tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm just about to say we've got David Moores in the chat tonight.
Oh, nice one, David.
Nice one, David.
He could win a mug as well. You never know.
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
Yeah. On that note, though, if you have won a mug before and you don't want to win another mug, you're quite welcome to win another mug if you want one. Yep. If you have won a mug before and you don't want to win a mug, but you know the answer, please don't answer it and let somebody else have an answer. Yeah. So you got me. You're welcome to have another go if you want a mug, but if you don't want a mug, don't answer the question.
Yes. My lights keep flicking and it's really annoying me. I think I've got a ropey bit in my strip of LEDs. That's really annoying.
Is it? Are you going to get the saxophone out for them?
The copyright. So, remember, don't say anything till I say go. It's a really simple question. This is Odo. What kind of bird is Odo? Go.
Go.
I just heard myself do that whistling saxophone noise from downstairs. Mum's watching an iPad. Captain Scarlet now. Oh, there we go. Straight off. Nick McVeigh. No, sorry, no. He's not a dodo.
No, there he is. Chris Smith said.
Chris Smith says Puffin. He's the first one. Chris is the first one there with Puffin. I don't know. I saw dodo. Yep, that's the answer. No, wait. So yes, he's a Puffin.
Well done, Chris Smith.
So Chris Smith, yep, drop a mail to Ted at eModels.co.uk. Ted, I'm really all out at sea tonight. I've got a little bit of a head cold going on, so my brain is not quite functioning. So I'm just like, I'm going to have a quick look at my light because I've got a faulty bit in it.
Flocks, your flies are open.
Yeah. Here's the trick, Ted. Don't buy really cheap, crappy LED lights off Amazon. Pay more, it'll last better. I've got to check my flies now. Yes, I'm fine. Yeah, don't buy cheap LED strip lights. It's never worth it.
Right, yeah. And the phone hasn't gone.
Oh.
No. I'm just having a look, see if there's any of the messages.
We'll tell you what then, Ted. If we've not had word from the dove from above, should we just give something away anyway? I made him panic then.
Hello. Hello. How are you? Very busy. Always busy. Yes. Yes, we did sweep it up. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Goodbye. Ah, yes. We have the go-ahead.
Nice.
We have the go-ahead.
Oh, we're doing a giveaway.
We're doing a giveaway. Right. I'll have a look. I'll just lock it on me a moment, and we'll go away and do a screen share of what we're going to give away this week. Ready for this, folks? I've lost the button. I need to press the screen share, don't I? I did this last week. Share. There we go. We're giving this away. We saw it in the offer section before. This is, can you see that? Hopefully you can see it.
Yeah, I think we've got it.
Hopefully you can see it. It is the Revell 124th McLaren. So your chance to do a shiny car if you haven't done one before. I know there are a few guys out there that like the shiny cars. And this is your chance to get one. We need, this is for everybody to take part as well. This isn't for answering on the chat tonight. This is for answering after we finish.
Yeah, I have a phrase. I made up a phrase.
Have you got a phrase, Mr. Fox? Yep. Right, I'll come back to me. So, yes, your chance tonight, the Revell 124th McLaren.
Make a note of that, Ted, so we know what it was next week.
Yeah.
Make a note of the number, because we will forget.
Yeah, hopefully we won't sell out. But I'm sure if it sells out before the show, before we get to next week, we'll arrange something of equal value. Right, I have that. I wrote it down. Right.
That's something we need to mention, actually. Whenever we do giveaways for things that are in the offer section, because we said before, when we show stuff, often people go and then buy it straight away while we're doing the live stream. So there's always the very slim chance that when you win, the thing you've won might have already been sold out. If that is the case, we'll sort something out for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we'll find something.
It's unlikely, but we have to say that every time.
We'll find something at equal or better value.
Yes.
Right. So, have you got a phrase for this week's giveaway?
Yep. To win this shiny car, all you need to do, like we said, we're doing this as not comments in the chat. Don't post your comment in the chat. We're going to ask you to post the comment on the actual video. So you can't do it now because you can't post comments on the live stream. You need to wait till we finish the stream, give it about 10 or 15 minutes, and then on the eModels YouTube page, you'll see that this live stream will then become archived and appear on the front page. So go into that. Put your comment on there, just like a normal YouTube comment. And what you need to say is, give me the shiny. I'll put that in the chat so people can see it.
Give me the shiny.
So just put, give me the shiny. And then what we'll do, this time next week, so next Monday, we'll go like we did this time. We'll go and pick a winner at random using an impartial third-party comment picking tool. And that person will win this kit. So, or kit of equal value. So remember, don't do it now. Don't do it in the chat. Give it about 10 minutes after the stream is finished. Go to the eModels YouTube page. It'll be there on the front page as the latest video upload. Put the comment on that and just put, give me the shiny. And this way, we do it this way so that people who don't watch the stream live have a chance to win as well. So you've got a whole week now to put the comment on. So if you're not watching this live, you can still take part. Just stick the comment on there.
Yeah, brilliant. So good luck to you, and hopefully you'll get something shiny.
Shiny.
Right. I think we're about getting ready to wind up for this evening. I'm just...
What time are we on? Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think...
We want an email, but it's not from anyone. Okay, cool.
Right.
You don't need to put a Spidey Q8 says with or without exclamation. Doesn't matter. We're not really fussed about spelling and stuff like that. As long as it says give me the shiny.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. A question from Arthur Miller. Have we ever built a Sherman tank? I'm sure I've built a Sherman tank.
Yeah, I've done a Tamiya Sherman tank many years ago.
Even as a child many moons ago.
It's still locked on you, Ted, by the way.
Oh, is it still locked on me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
Yeah, I'm really bad at pressing buttons.
I don't know because it doesn't update at my end, so I just see you all the time anyway.
Right.
The price I have to pay, you know.
Yeah, Arthur Miller says, have we ever built a Sherman tank even in our childhood? Yes, of course we have. Can we recommend a decent Sherman kit to build?
I've only ever built the Tamiya
Yeah,
135th.
depends which ones you want to build. There's millions of them out there. The Tamiya one, brilliant. I think the Italieri one, it looks quite good as well. I haven't got it. My son's got it. He's got the Easy 8 from Fury. That one's to build.
Tamiya recently released an Easy 8, didn't they? About a year ago.
Yeah, since the film came out, there's been a few sort of people who have released them. So there's lots to build out there. There's lots of versions and great fun to be had. So yeah, Arthur, just look around, look at what takes your fancy. What as I say, anything by Tamiya, usually pretty good. If you want to get back into it, get back into something like that.
But I mean, I don't know if Tacom, Trumpeter or Meng. Well, I know Meng do a chibi egg tank, but I don't know if Trumpeter or Tacom do a Sherman. They probably do. But yeah, Tamiya, Trumpeter, Tacom, they usually, and Dragon are sort of four of the best armor kit makers.
Yeah, and Beyond Hope says the only good-looking Sherman was a Firefly. Well, this looks like, I think we did get another question. Well, no, so it's David. Just
Spidey Q8 have asked about if we misspell the comments, the comment to win. I said no, it doesn't matter. He says, "Oh, no fair. I think accurate spelling should be required. Taking part is important, but doing good spelling is important."
Yes, is he the guy that's is he one of these guys that goes around and sort of puts the exclamation marks in the right place and the apostrophes and all that at railway stations, scrubs them out on posters?
Apostrophe in the wrong place. Do you know, I tell you what, I can be. I'm an apostrophe Nazi. I really am, because if I see people misusing apostrophes, it drives me nuts. I actually wrote a letter of complaint to Seabrook Crisps once. When I was many years ago, and I'd only like 20, I was only 25, and I was in the civil service, and you go to the food machine at break time, and they basically got a package of disturbingly odd cheese or packets of Seabrook's Crisps. And they insisted on putting quotation marks around everything on the packet, but all in the wrong place. So it would be like Seabrook's, cheese and onion flavor crisps. I'm like, why have you got flavor in quotation marks? And then it'd say, wait, 25 grams E. And they put it, and I had to write to them and complain.
Write a strong.
And apparently, then about 3 months later, it changed and they stopped doing it. I like to think it was completely down to me, that.
Right.
I don't know where that story.
I just can't spell. Yeah. David Rum, where's the Rum God says his spelling is worse than yours.
Yes, and Zadster has put "Dear Seabrook Crisps" in quotes with an apostrophe of crisps as well.
This is getting like an English lesson now. Yes, it's time to wrap up the site, folks. Unless you've got any last-minute questions.
Are we locked on you again, Ted?
No, you're locked. No, back to me.
Who says we're locked on?
It was locked on me. It's back to you now.
Okay. I only see Ted, so I can't tell. So
yeah, what I have to do next week is get some big red stickers and put "Press me." Do not press me. Press this one. Yeah, press the order. The red one. Press the red one. Right. Right. I don't think we've got any more questions, unless there's any last-minute ones or comments to come in. Yeah, but please, if you think have any questions.
Sorry, Chris says, "Dear Seabrook Crisps." Yes. I'm getting support. I'm
losing it because I can't spell at all.
No, Spidey Q8 says, "Score a victory for the little guy. The spelling resistance shall remember your contribution."
Yeah.
This has been a bit of a chaotic stream tonight, hasn't it?
Thank heavens for spell check. Although
that doesn't help.
That doesn't. No.
Spell check does autocomplete, really doesn't.
Yeah, autocomplete. Yeah, you can send some really embarrassing.
Well, you know what's worse than doing that though, than like an embarrassing autocomplete? When you send a text to someone, and then you realise because you've gone in and done it in a rush, you've texted the text to the last person you texted, not the person you thought you were texting it to. And when you're texting someone about a third party and you've actually sent that to I've done that before.
Oh,
I've done that before. I got in a lot of trouble. It didn't work out well. So when you're sending a text, folks, just go back into them and don't just assume it's the same person. When you're texting more than one person at once, I hate that.
Yeah. Anyway, it's time we left the chat. Time to go and have a lie down in a dark room. And I've got lots of things.
Ted, is that lie down in a dark room? You mean gin? G&T.
Yeah, the sun is over. The sun is well over the yard arm.
Yes.
So it's time to go and have a nice pink gin, and we'll see you all next week. Don't forget to answer put your comment after the video is finished, and once it sort of renders and posts itself to YouTube, you'll be able to add your comment to the bottom of the page.
Just give it 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait till it appears on the eModels front page.
Remember, yeah, we are keeping them now on the eModels front page, so you'll be able to find this stream without having to go look for it in YouTube and things like that.
Yes, this we've changed it now so that when we finish the stream, it also stays on the emodels.co.uk/live until the next stream. So you can always come back a bit later on today, go into the eModels live page and click on the YouTube thing at the bottom, and it'll take you to the YouTube page where you can leave your comment.
Yeah, and don't forget as well, don't forget to post your photographs of your built models on the eModels gallery.
Oh, yes, forgot about that.
On there. And we can have a look at, everybody can have a look at them, and post comments on and like them and things like that. See what you can do.
Yeah, don't go on, Ted. No, you carry on.
It doesn't have to be an eModels model. It doesn't have to come from eModels. Just post some of your work. Let other guys have a look at it. And we will at the 1st of November. Is that right?
Yes, 1st of November. We'll go into the gallery, emodels.co.uk/gallery. We'll go into the gallery. We'll look at all the ones that have got 5-star ratings from you. You will rate them yourselves. Ted and I will go through and pick one that we like the most, and that person will win a prize.
Yeah, saw that. And yeah, the stickers. We didn't mention the stickers. The stickers haven't reached us from the printers yet, or they haven't reached the guys, not us. They haven't reached the guys at eModels from the printers yet, but they are on the way, and we will let you know ASAP as soon as.
Yes. I need to go and get angry at my. Oh, it's doing my head in now. Can you see it flicking? I don't know if you guys can see it.
It's flicking now. Right, you go and get your saxophone out while you sit underneath it playing the saxophone.
That's the trumpet. Sorry, I can't.
And we'll switch the stream off, and we'll see you all next week, guys. Thank you very much. See you all next week. Bye now. Bye. I better go make a phone call. Anyway, hang on a minute. I'll see you later. Bye, guys.